WNY watercooler.com.
You know where the fuck you are? You in the jungle, baby! Wake up! Time to die!
Criticism where? From where? From where?
Twitter, radio.
Yeah, I'd give a rat's ass about Twitter. It's a platform for people that are sitting home throwing an unemployment check, sitting in front of a keyboard. I'm not disregarding what you're saying. Trust me, I get it at my own house. But, I mean, I just kind of felt like that social media and Twitter was destroying this country anyway. So that's how I feel about it. From politics to sports to whatever. It gives people a platform to and then other people are like needling it and they're sitting at home and they're late on a payment. So anyway, that's how I feel.
Now it's day I've been trying to get that taste.
Welcome back.
on my
Welcome back.
soul.
WNYWaterCooler.com podcast. Steve, the magnificent host, and we got Coast.
What's up, Janice?
Tough to not overreact to that beatdown.
We were both wrong last week.
Yeah,
Predicting a loss.
as the week went on, I felt better and better about the game. I don't know what it was, but
Yeah.
we just dominated.
I kind of did too, and I mean, honestly, after the first possession and how difficult it seemed for Kansas City to drive, even to get that field goal, I felt pretty confident. I mean, we stopped them on their first drive. They got a holding, one of many, many flags against us. But they needed that to keep the drive alive, and it took them like 16 plays. I'm like, compared to last season where they moved the ball at will, it just seemed like it was harder for them starting off and really the whole game.
Well, I mean, the officiating both ways was it was really bad. I'm not going to blame the refs for a Bills loss unless it's a very specific play, generally. But the officiating was just bad all around, and they just throwing flags nonstop the whole game.
Yeah, it was out of control how many flags they were, and a lot of them seemed very like they didn't really need to throw the flag on a lot of those. I thought each team had a roughing the passer that was like really. I felt like we had a lot of holding penalties, especially that one on Mitch Morse. That was like, come on.
That was egregious.
Yeah, that was egregious, and it came right before the Chiefs roughing the passer, which is probably a makeup call.
Yeah.
It was egregious. It was horrible.
Yeah, and that was a big play. I mean, we had a big run on that play.
Yeah, but I mean, like you said, it was just like equally terrible across the board.
The Chiefs, if Hilaire isn't going, they don't have a third option. I mean, Hardman, some of these other guys they have are just people. If you could shut down one or both of them, Hill and Kelsey, I mean, I know it's almost impossible, but if they both are having an off night, they don't have any other option.
I mean, I think that I feel like if Kelsey is sort of neutralized, I don't want to say Mahomes looks like ordinary, but I mean, he relies on those guys. Like, if they didn't have Kelsey, I think Mahomes would have a tough time. I really do. I think Kelsey, like, we were able to sort of limit him, and Hill did nothing. And so, and Kelsey's touchdown was like a shovel pass, whatever, but Mahomes did not look good in that game.
I mean, in some corners of the internet, there's people that believe he's really overrated, which I'm trending towards that way. I mean, either you cover the spread or you don't, and they don't cover the spread. They're against the spread. They're like 1-14 or something in their last 15. And, I mean, yeah, maybe there's some sort of like there's the Vegas is maybe scared of the Chiefs. So the line's a little higher than it should be, but still.
I don't have any like stats backing this up, but I also think that when you keep Mahomes kills you when he's like running around doing crazy stuff. Like that fourth down play. We rushed 3. We didn't come close to pressuring him. He stood back there for 8 seconds and it was incomplete. like it just seems like when you keep him in the pocket and make him like just be a normal quarterback, he doesn't really scare me. It's when he's like rolling out that and scrambling that he can make like crazy plays.
Yeah, it's almost like he's better if he's doing some crazy angled passes and weird underarm throws and shit.
That I want to that like trick play they ran at the goal line was the most like rinky-dink bullshit thing I've ever seen. It made me so angry that like they bring Hill in. Hill's like barking out calls, like pretending to. It's like they were trying to toy with us. It was the most pathetic thing I've ever seen. And I'm so glad we just absolutely whooped them the rest of the game because that play was a joke.
Yeah, it got me pissed too. Just sitting there, like, really, are you guys even taking this game seriously? Like, you're gonna try and fuck with us and like,
That's exactly what it seemed like. Like, what kind of play is that? Like, Kelsey was under center, and then like Hill comes in, and he's like pointing guys out, like it's and then Mahomes, and then they come in and just run like a normal bootleg like play. It's like clearly it was just I don't know, like who's taking it seriously when Hill is under center, like pointing out the bat linebackers, like
yeah,
unbelievable.
it definitely seemed like they were like purposely fucking with us or something. But
Yeah, well, didn't work for him.
I didn't know if you don't put your hands under center. If you put your hands under center, then you're not an eligible receiver. That's something I learned new for this
Oh,
playbook.
right. Like, if one of them would have put their hands under center, they would have had to play with the quarterback or something. I don't know.
They would have been an ineligible receiver.
Yeah, right. So at that point, they might as well take the ball. But, yeah, that was dumb. But, I mean, we really just, all three phases, just absolutely trounced on them. I mean, they had a fumble that we didn't turn into points, but they fumbled the kickoff that we should have turned into a touchdown. I mean, think about it. That was a holding penalty on that drive, on that Moss run that got us inside the 10, and instead we get the hold and we go backwards and we end up punting. But it was 38-20, and it could have been worse. I mean, I know we had the red zone pick, but we just thoroughly dominated the game on both sides of the ball, all three phases.
Yeah, I mean, seeing someone like Rousseau just make that individual play, like, if that dude's gonna be like above average, I mean, we Bills could be set for a while.
What are the odds? They were talking about on the radio today that a rookie defensive player would be the AFC Defensive Player of the week they play at Arrowhead. It's like pretty unbelievable that happened. But yeah, man, he makes plays. That interception was sick. That was like JJ. All he had to do was stay on his feet and take it 90 yards. That's JJ Watt-esque.
Yeah, and it wasn't even against Tyrod Taylor. So.
EJ. But,
Oh,
yeah.
EJ. Yeah.
That was like the end of his career as a Bill.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, dude, it was amazing to watch. Honestly, like Allen. I mean, what can you say? What can you say about him? Let's hear it.
No, I mean, we surround him with a ton of talent, so he's lucky. Well, and the coordinators, I actually like. We might lose both these guys. I mean, the game plans that we had on offense and defense, we didn't blitz at all, which obviously worked, and
Amazing.
And our offense was completely different than what we did last time we played. Well, I mean, last time we played, we didn't do shit.
We were balanced. I mean, we ended up with more runs than passes, but you take away like the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 or whatever that Moss had on that last drive. It was like 26 and 21 or 2 runs and passes. We barely had the ball. Like Kansas City had the ball, and they ran way more plays. They were just unsuccessful. And we made so many huge plays. I mean, Allen had some throws that were just like unbelievable. That pass to Sanders, that was crazy.
And Knox is like all of a sudden an actual good tight end. I mean, if Knox and Rousseau are good, I mean, we might actually be a great team.
We've been saying it about Knox. We all like Knox. I mean, our buddy Tim loved him, but we all thought he was super talented. The guy just dropped everything. But that hasn't really been happening this season, and he made some huge plays. Like
He's getting
Yeah.
down the field and open. I mean, and Joshy Poo's hitting him, and he's catching it. So, yeah, we never really sent him deep down the field like we have this year, I feel like.
Nah, I mean, he was, yeah, he's he had two like 50-yard catches. So I mean, then you got Diggs. Diggs had a 60-yard catch or whatever. You had Sanders. Beasley didn't even get one catch.
Yeah, and then he deletes his Twitter account. Maybe I should delete mine, too.
And he's got. I saw him tonight at soccer. He was out there on the field playing with the parents versus kids game, wearing sneakers in this muddy field. I'm like, Jesus, this guy's gonna tear friggin' ACL. Anyways, yeah, he can have random. We have so many weapons that like random guys can just. I mean, how do you like take away and Moss? I mean, Moss is way better than Singletary, and he looks good. He makes guys miss. He's a good receiver. I mean,
I feel like he
like
gets
Moss.
hurt a lot, though.
Well, he got hurt, yeah. So well, I don't know, but we have a lot of weapons, and it's really hard to defend our offense, and we can come at you a lot of different ways.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I don't think we want to be peaking in week 5, but I mean, we've been healthy. I mean, the Chiefs game was tough. I mean, we were 3-point dogs, but other than that, we still haven't really beaten anyone. And we only have maybe 2 or 3 games left this year. But I mean, it's just everything's like perfect right now. But the problem is we don't want it to be perfect in October. So, I mean, is it sustainable? Possibly, probably, maybe. But I mean, we got to stay healthy. There's 3 or 4 guys we can't afford to lose.
yeah, I agree. The peaking too soon thing, I don't really buy it only because, first of all, I don't think our offense is really peaked. I mean, they played a couple really good games, and they haven't looked other than I mean.
Well, they've done what they had to do. I mean, the defense has been setting them up perfectly.
Yeah.
Even special teams, we've been getting turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, we're taking the ball away a ton. You can't expect that every single week. I mean, defense is, if you're a good defense, you can take the ball away more than average. But I think we're number 1 in the league in takeaways right now. So not gonna last. But then again, like you said, who are we playing? So I don't know. I mean, our over/under for wins. I think I looked last week. I should have looked for the podcast. I think it was 12.5 before the Chiefs game.
I mean,
So
yeah,
it's got to be 13 now. And where are you finding 3 more losses? Our 2 hardest games are Tennessee and Tampa.
yeah. I mean, a New England game we could maybe drop. I mean, they should have lost to Houston. I mean that.
New England stinks, but that doesn't mean we're not going to lose a game. I mean, last year we didn't really lose a game that we shouldn't have. So you can't, if you're going to go 13-3, 14-3, whatever, you can't lose games against bad teams. So I don't know. I mean, I don't see like letdown much. I mean, we already lost to Pittsburgh, but I just don't see letdown in them. Like they're going to lay an egg versus like,
Yeah, I mean, the weather in December, and now we have 3 friggin' games in January. The weather could be neutralizing to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Like a fluke loss or something, and.
Yeah, you're playing New England. You can get a game like last year where we played them at home. It was like super windy, that no passing game, and we win by 7, basically, or whatever, 3, I think. Only because Newton fumbled. If you could lose a game like that easily, but I don't know, man.
The larger takeaway from the game is like I'm actually thinking like, holy shit, it's like odds-on favorite to be the 1 seed. Like the path to the Super Bowl is coming through us. Like
2 games at home to get to the Super Bowl. So it's on the table for sure. I mean, it's almost like, honestly, it's got to be expected at this point. I still think the biggest competition in the conference is Kansas City, and you're 2.5 games up on them.
And they still have to get through the Chargers. I mean, their game behind them. I mean, their division isn't looking as bad or as tough as it did 3 weeks ago. I mean, with the Raiders, they'll fold like a tent in the wind. But also Denver. I mean, they were a smokescreen too.
Yeah, I don't know. The Chargers are. I don't know. I'm not ready to say the Chargers are like one of the best teams in the league, but maybe they are. I don't know. Baltimore's 4-1. they could so easily be 1-4. So I don't.
Yeah, I mean, for them to have 4 wins is a joke.
They should be like 2-3. And for sure. I mean, that Colts game, that was a joke, and the Lions game was like a 1 in a million.
Yeah, I mean, something that's never happened before.
So I don't know. The two teams I'm still most concerned with, I think, in the conference are Kansas City and Cleveland. Just because Cleveland, the way they can run the ball, and Myles Garrett, and they have a lot of players that scare me.
Yeah. I mean,
But
yeah, Cleveland. I don't. I mean, Cleveland is a stacked team, but they just. I mean, are we really going to be scared of the quarterback?
I don't. I mean, if we're at home, I mean,
Well, the thing they're built for January. I mean, in the
yeah,
cold snow. That's one thing that could. Bills Cleveland. Ugh, AFC Championship game. That would be.
that's what we were saying last season too. Like they're built for that. I was afraid of them coming in the playoffs last year because of the way they're built to run the ball. I don't care. We talk about this all the time. You got to be able to run the ball and play defense in the playoffs. I heard some stat that I don't know what game we're watching, but out of the last 20 Super Bowl teams, like every single one of them was like top 12 or top 13 in defense, except maybe like one. So like you have to have a good defense. Like this whole defense doesn't matter stuff. It's nonsense. Of course, defense matters, and you got to be able to run the ball. I mean, and I think we have that ability to now. And if they can mix in Allen when it makes sense and Moss, like we can run the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, Allen jumping over dudes in the fourth quarter, like
Oh
this
my God.
guy is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a highlight reel. They're cool pictures, but I mean,
Unbelievable play. We needed that.
I don't know. He still is. I mean, if this guy's so important to our team, he needs to be reined in if the game's out at, like over.
I mean, we were only up 11 and it was third down, so it wasn't like over yet.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, I don't remember the exact.
Yeah,
I mean,
we were up 11.
it was like fucking 2 a.m.
I've watched the replay like 14 times. 3rd and 4, he hurdled the guy like 3 yards before the sticks. It was an amazing play.
Jesus, you got a real man crush on this guy. And you
No, I
don't
mean,
even have. Do you have a jersey?
I'm happy when he plays. I mean, obviously, I want him to play well because that means we're gonna win. That's first and foremost. But like, I mean, I just feel like, I mean, regardless of what you think about Allen, I think it's clear how much he cares, and how much work he puts in, and you can see it from his teammates and how much they love him, and like, he's an easy guy to root for. I'll say that.
Well, what you and I root for is probably the exact opposite. But what you said is true about how I mean, he has a good work ethic, and he really like takes self-improvement seriously. I was reading an article about, I think it was in the New York Times, where they did like a big profile of him, where he like talks to these gurus that like break down the way he like releases the ball and his stance and shit, and he like really like works on hard like having a wider stance and like release angles and stuff.
Yeah, he's totally like puts in the effort, and that's why I think it's great to see him be rewarded with and he always says like, "Oh, my harshest critic is myself," and I believe that. Like, I think when he has a bad game, he works his ass off to play better the next week. He doesn't take anything for granted. It's not. He's got the perfect mentality for the guy you want to lead your team, I think. And so when he plays well and lights it up like that, yeah, I love him. How can you not?
You just sound like a schoolyard boy, just like
I don't care.
Jesus Christ.
This guy's going to be our quarterback till we're almost 50.
I just looked up the line for Monday night. I didn't know what the line was. Did you see?
I don't know what the line is. Well, I haven't seen it. I think I looked last week, and it was maybe 3.5.
5.5 now. It's 5.5.
5.5.
I mean,
That's
Tennessee, they lost to the Jets, didn't they? So I mean, but they did have both our receivers hurt, and Julio's back, and I think AJ Brown is supposed to be back too. And I mean, this team, they clowned us last year.
yeah. I think could have some little bit of revenge on our mind from that game because they kind of screwed us for 2 games with the COVID stuff. Like we were kind of being hung out to dry by them. If you remember, we didn't know we were going to be playing that game until like Sunday, and then they're like, "Yeah, you're playing Tuesday."
Yeah,
And
no,
so,
I remember all that. Yeah, I mean, it could be the only thing they don't say trap games are real. Letdown games to me are still. I think that's a real thing. So, because the Bills went all out against the Chiefs. I mean, they were fighting until the end, like bodying dudes, talking shit all the time, the whole game.
Yeah.
Like it's emotionally draining, but I mean, at least we have an extra day to. I don't know.
Yeah, we got an extra day. It's Monday night. We're playing a team that kicked our ass last year. So those are all things maybe that'll help negate any sort of letdown.
Yeah, if it was like a 1 o'clock Sunday game in Tennessee, like that no one cared about or was watching,
Yeah.
I could see more of a letdown. But I think this game, that it's gonna be half Bills fans. I mean, the people are gonna be taking off to go to this game, and it's gonna be a fun game.
Yeah, I think that it's and like you said, the Titans. I don't know what to make of them yet. Their division sucks. They're probably going to make the playoffs. They lost. They got killed by the Cardinals. They lost by 25, but obviously they're good. And they lost to the Jets, and they beat Seattle in overtime in that weird game. And Henry, I mean, they literally run him 28, 29, 30 times a game. So I don't know. We go into Monday night, you know what they're going to do. But I think if you get a lead on them, although they came back, they were down double digits in Seattle, and just were able to come back somehow by just running the ball.
Well, Seattle has like a historically bad defense, but yeah, I mean they came back against them. I mean with the receivers back, I mean Tannehill's he's a mediocre average quarterback. But like if something like last year happens where we have Andre Roberts fumbling the ball all game and bouncing the ball off his face.
And he dropped on the first drive. He had that drop that went right into the defensive back's hand. So he really did hurt us in that game a lot.
Murdered us.
So I don't know, but I just think that Tannehill. Yeah, I think Tannehill's decent if he's got the lead, and he's playing like when they're controlling the game. Now they're behind. I don't know, and I guess I just trust Frazier and McDermott to come up with a game plan to take out Henry. I mean, Henry hasn't really killed us anytime we played him, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, he killed Josh Norman's career, but us,
yeah, that's true.
he doesn't put up huge stats against us seemingly, but for some reason we fucking play this team every year, always in Tennessee too, but.
Yeah, why is it always in Tennessee? I don't understand. It seems like it's always in Tennessee. We do play them every year.
It must be like Southwest wants to book all their flights from Buffalo. I don't know what it is.
Must be.
Some sort of cabal.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we played them at home, I think, in Allen's rookie season. But in the playoff year with Tyrod, and then the last 2 years, we played them in Tennessee. So it's the last 4 years. But just looking back to last year's game, how many yards do you think Henry had in that game?
87.
Okay, never mind. Damn, this is brutal.
Well, I mean, the guy still he's a friggin' horse, but I mean, our defense is. I could see Rousseau not playing much, and I think our whole defense is going to look different. They're going to they'll put Basham in maybe more. They'll put in Obata more, I think.
So he had 19 for 57 and 2 touchdowns. Tannehill, 21 to 28, 195 and 3. They didn't really put up a ton of yards. It was just more. I think we gave them.
Well, yeah. I mean, Roberts gave him the ball twice deep in our zone, and yeah, in the first half it was like all field position. Like we would punt inside our own 20, and they would be starting at midfield every time. At least how I remember it.
It was 3-0 turnovers.
Yeah.
So that was obviously the difference in the game. I mean, it was a bad game, but it was a weird game. It was a timing, a Tuesday, the delay, the playing it for the Chiefs. It's an easy one to throw out, but I just think that I don't know. They scare me because they're very unique.
Yeah, they're a unique team, but
Yeah.
They don't scare me that much. I mean, I could see us going in there. We want to roll into the bye. Just the talk of the NFL, just steamrolling these teams that are supposed to be upper echelon AFC competitors.
Our point differential right now, you love point differential. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty insane, our point differential. Through 5 games, plus 108. I mean, it's like 50 points better
Yeah,
than
we're
Arizona.
by far the best, right? Yeah, well, give me some more Millses and some more of. I mean, I don't even know the freaking quarterbacks that we play. They're not even going to be in the league soon. So
Well, after the bye, we got Tua and Zach Wilson and Carson Wentz and I don't know.
yeah, I mean the
Just
Colts. I mean that team. Jeez, Frank Reich. Well, that they were like trying to lose that game to the Ravens. That was just, that guy. I don't know, Frank Reich. Yikes.
such a good coach, though. Everyone loves him.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but
the
I
religious.
mean,
He has a sign of the cross, and no one wants to say anything negative about him.
it's just because these guys that like, I feel like the same is true for Kyle Shanahan. It's like they have this amazing like stretch as offensive coordinator, like he did with Atlanta, Wright did with Philly. I don't know. It's like assumed that they're just going to be great head coaches. Maybe I don't. Plus, they got some pedigree. Like, it's not like Dayball, who's like obviously he's never played football or he never played in the league like Reich or his dad wasn't like a head coach. But I don't know. Like you have this great run as offensive coordinator. These guys like Shanahan, I don't understand why people are obsessed with him.
Well, I mean the team is just always has injuries, 49ers, but
They do, but at what point, like, doesn't an organization deserve fault for some of that stuff?
there has to be
Like,
something. I mean, whether
yeah,
it's their like the training or the practice regiment, or I
just
mean,
not doing good research on guys, like bringing in guys that have injury history. I mean, I don't know any of that. But, like, there's got to be something that it can't just be all 100% dumb bad luck that they just have all these injuries all the time. Like something's going on. But
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, it's bizarre. The Eagles could have 3 top 10 picks. They had the
The Eagles,
Colts and the Dolphins first round picks, and their
they have,
own
they have the Dolphins, theirs, and who else?
Colts.
Yeah, I have a coworker who's an Eagles fan, and he talks about how he's rooting for, following those teams every week because they're going to have a high draft pick. But they're not bad. They're at least like worth watching.
Yeah, I mean
You know,
yeah, Hurts is
so
entertaining.
so how do you figure out? So New England plays the Cowboys this week. How do you? How is it determined what your crossover game is?
It was the team. It was what place you were in your division, and then the first one it was the East versus East, West versus West.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's huge for us. Yeah, Washington won the division. Okay, that makes sense. I wasn't sure. So if Miami, how many wins does Miami have? One.
Yeah,
So we could be
against the
5-1
Patriots.
and we could be 3 full games clear in the division after 6.
Yeah, I mean
After everyone's ready to jump. Everyone is freaking out, panicking after week 1. Here we are, like the Super Bowl favorites a month later.
I don't know if everyone was freaking out, but I mean that was an ugly game. But
Didn't was it Mike Schopp who said that Allen's MVP chances are mathematically over or something?
probably,
And now he's the favorite.
yeah.
Things change so fast.
That's why I don't want to overreact to the beating the Chiefs because the Chiefs in 2 months or 10 weeks could be different. I mean, we'll likely be the same, but the Chiefs. It just seems like there's something about them where they're like so arrogant. They think that they're. I mean, they're obviously trying, but something like about them that they just seem to be off.
Yeah, I just don't. I'm not scared of their weapons. Outside of those 2 guys, I mean, I think their running backs stink. And the only reason why they were able to that game plan last year in the regular season versus us, it was bad weather. Edmonds and Milano were both injured. Um, our D line is way better this year. So like none of their guys really scare me. I mean, obviously the two main guys, but like if you can take one of them out of the game, I just think that they seem like you could defend them. I didn't feel that way last year, but I just wasn't afraid of them this year.
All right, what's your prediction for this Monday night affair?
And I mean, I'm just gonna ride the wave here.
Always shocked.
37 to 23 Bills.
Yeah, I think I was thinking the over in this game has got to be a lock. Oh, it's 54, so it's lower than 2.5 points lower than the Chiefs over under. Yeah, -5.5. I think that will cover. I think it's going to be a shootout, but I don't know if I just don't think the Titans can keep up with us. If as long as the weather's nice, I mean we'll put up 35 on them. So I'll say 35-28.
Have we had a nice weather game yet? I don't know. Maybe week 1 that was the worst game. But yeah, I can't see our offense being held down right now. Even if they don't play great, they're still going to score. So
yeah, I mean and the Titans defense isn't good. They gave up a bunch of points to the Jets. So
yeah, exactly. So yeah, man, 5-1 going in the bye. And then we'll be favored in every game the rest of the season, maybe except one.
Tampa.
So
yeah.
Oh yeah. All right.
It's a weird time. Very weird time.
It's crazy, and you never know what's going to happen. I mean, if we go into that Tampa game and they're like, 7-4, and we're 10-1, we might be favored. Who knows?
Could be pick'em. All right, we'll talk to you next week.
Later. Bye.
Bills like Buffalo.
Go fuck yourself.
Shit, I'm all about the Bills like Thurman Thomas. I don't tip, I pay bills. Bitches call me Buffalo.
Fuck it. Do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
Hey, Peter.
Yeah.
Watch out for your cornhole, bud.
Okay, Lawrence.
Yes.